Hi guys, please like, share and subscribe. And if you want full course for any actuarial subject, visit theactuarialguy.com or WhatsApp on this number. Thank you.
Hello and welcome guys. This is my quick intro on subject CP2, which is modeling practice. So we'll talk about both the II and IFO exam. What should be your preparation strategy? What is the exam format? What are the important things to remember? And just briefly discussing my course as well on subject CP2. So for CP2, there are two parts to the exam. There is paper 1 and paper 2. Both of them are 3 hour 20 minutes exam in case of IFOA, and in case of II they are 3 hour 15-minute exams. Important thing is that II calls them paper A and B and IFOA calls them paper 1 and 2, but they are essentially the same thing. Weightage for both of the parts is 50-50% equal weightage, right? The purpose of the first part of the exam or paper A is to test your exploratory data analysis, modeling and documentation skills, right? That is, how well are you able to just understand the data, clean it and use it to build a model, and then how well are you able to document a model, uh, sort of create a guide to the model, which is called as the audit trail. Now, in case of IFOA, this audit trail is created in Microsoft Word, which is the most intuitive software to do it, right? The advantage of this is also that if there are any grammatical or spelling errors, that is flagged by Microsoft Word itself. But II has a weird format. They want you to create the audit trail within the MS Excel spreadsheet on which you create this Microsoft Excel based model, right? So in case of II, the entire exam is Microsoft Excel based. Everything is supposed to be done within the Microsoft Excel environment. Uh, Now, when it comes to paper 2 or paper B, there they are testing how well you can understand or decipher or interpret a model, and then how are your communication skills in terms of just uh, taking a business view of the model and explaining it to a stakeholder, right? So without getting into the formulae and the Excel functions that have been used, can you explain the what, why, and how of a pre-existing model to a senior stakeholder, right? That is what is examined here. So they give you a model from their side and you have to just interpret it, draw your conclusions from it, and suggest some sort of next steps from it. That is the job. That is obviously after you make certain improvements to the model. So what they are trying to see is that if we give you a model, can you understand it? Can you make the changes that we need you to? And then how well can you document this for a senior stakeholder so that they can present it, right? That is the idea. Okay, now let's talk about the context and the weight distribution. So firstly, I would like to talk about what is the context in which you are writing the exam, right? uh, so what they would typically tell you under paper A or paper 1 is, look, this is the data, this is the modeling scenario, this is the model we need. Firstly, you need to check the data, okay, see if everything looks fine. Then you need to sort of make adjustments to the data if needed, clean it up, and then build a model on top of it. And this model will be consumed by your fellow student, and it can also be consumed by a senior actuary, right? So it should be written in such a way that both of them can understand it. The purpose for the fellow student would be to uh, use this model again in the future to do some separate modeling, make some adjustment, make some improvements to the model. The purpose for the senior actuary would just to be able to understand this model and get confidence on it, right? So that is the sort of context you are operating with, and that is why the audit trail is given such a high weightage, uh, just to understand whether you're able to explain this model well to the relevant stakeholders or not, right? So the model and the data checks aspect of it is only 30 to 35 marks. Uh, but the audit trail itself is 55 to 60 marks, right? That is the more important or the more heavily weighted part of the exam. And then apart from that, they expect you to write reasonableness checks. That is, for example, let's say you are working with the general insurance reserving data, right? So are your IBNR claims reserves growing year on year or not? That can be a reasonableness check, right? uh, so that sort of a check can exist, right? Like, so depending on the context of the question, uh, you will have to conduct a lot of reasonableness checks to just a couple of reasonableness checks to just see if your output that you have produced and the data that you have looks reasonable or not. Okay, and then the good modeling practices are such as not hard coding anything within your functions, right? So you would be taking everything from a fixed sheet of parameters and just referencing it to there instead of you hard coding everything, right? Things like that are just good modeling practices, right? Obviously we'll learn about all of these things as we go through our course. Now, for paper 2, the context is that a model has already been prepared by some other student. Now that student has gone, okay, and they're absent, and you are asked to first make some improvements to the model, right? So some additional analysis which needs to be done uh, in the model. So first you need to understand the model, then you need to do that analysis, and then you need to prepare a summary document, the purpose of which is that it would be read by a senior actuary who would present it to a client or to senior management or to someone, right? So the agenda of this senior actuary, the reader of your document, is to understand your model at a high level and then make a presentation based on it, right? So with that agenda in mind, you need to write this summary document, and this summary document is in fact for 80-85 marks. The model improvements are just for 15 to 20 marks, right? So as you see in both parts of the paper, the documentation is what is meaty, what really carries marks, rather than just getting the answer right. So that is what your focus should disproportionately be to, right? In terms of your preparation, that you should focus a lot more on how to produce a good summary document and audit trail, rather than just running after perfecting the model, because since time is a major constraint in this exam, you are bound to make silly mistakes here, right? uh, there is a lot of scope for absent-minded errors, but what you can score really well on is by following good modeling practices, ticking all the boxes in terms of doing reasonableness checks, data checks properly, writing assumptions, writing next steps, all of that properly, right? If you are able to do that properly, you fetch the majority of marks, because modeling itself is not for a lot of marks. That said, of course, you should try to get the model right, and we'll do a lot of practice for that as well, right? So that is the context and the weight distribution for this exam. Now, in case of IA exams, there are a couple more restrictions that you need to keep in mind, restrictions or conditions. Firstly, in case of IFOA, the pass mark is announced based on the difficulty of the exam, right? IFOA has an elaborate system for it, which is where they make someone write the exam, a qualified actuary write the exam, and based on that, they set the mark, right? So it's really based on the difficulty, right? With II, the pass mark is fixed. It's always 50%, right? No matter how difficult or easy the exam is. But there's also one more additional consideration, that in paper B and paper A, individually, you have to get 30%, right? So IFOA just has an aggregate or an overall pass mark, but II also needs you to get 30% in individual exams, right? Additionally, there are some technical constraints in case of the II platform on which you write the exam. The first one is that the function keys are disabled in the exam. Function keys being F1 to F12, you can't use them. So, for example, F2 being used to edit the cell, or F4 being used for fixed referencing in Excel, cannot be used. You have to do it using your mouse. Okay. Alt tab is something that is disabled in the exam, so you cannot switch between windows using Alt tab, right? And right click is disabled in the exam. So all of these restrictions exist, and you have to work under these constraints, right? Now, what are the real challenges with CP2? Why do people fail, or where do people struggle, or how do you prepare? What are the areas of focus? The first one is model building, right? So you need to get a lot of Excel practice, do a lot of past papers to get your model building right. So no matter what model they've given, you're able to execute it using Excel formula. That's the first agenda. Second agenda, which is for a lot more marks, is getting the documentation right. Okay. And the third agenda is doing a proper time management while doing this, because CP2 is a very lengthy exam. Time management is the real challenge. Okay. So if you are able to manage time while doing 1 and 2, you will pass easily. It's not a problem. Typical pass percentage for II is between 30 to 40%. Seen something like 27, 28 as well. But yeah, 30 to 40 is typical. IFOA, it's slightly on the higher side, so it's 40 to 50%, right? So that is those are the challenges with CP2. Now, what should be your preparation strategy? If you enroll for my course, then your strategy should be first to go through the video lecture, cover all the concepts, right? We'll cover Excel, and I will talk about how to write paper 1, paper 2, all of that. Cover a couple of past exam papers, so those paper wise guidance lectures are also there, and then past exam solution lectures are also there. So you should attempt yourself and look at my solutions. You can look for specific paths, all of that, right? So cover the course really well, right? Whatever I've provided you with the video lectures for how to write the exam, how to do it on Excel, how to prepare a good summary, and then like past papers, cover all of that. Then you should review the solution of at least 2 papers from II or IFOA, whichever institute you're writing from. Don't look at the other institute, just focus on the institute you are writing it from. II students can still go through IFOA papers. IFOA students shouldn't go through II papers, no point, okay? Then you should solve at least 6 papers of II and IFOA under exam conditions, okay? And then you should review all exam questions since 2019, right? So first you review to just see like what is the structure of the answer that II and IFOA give. Just get yourself comfortable with it. Practice 5 to 6 exam papers, and then go through as many exam papers as you can. That should be your strategy. If you do self study, then instead of my lectures, you will have to go through the CMP, solve the CMP assignments, and then rest of the strategy relating to exam past papers is the same, right? So that is all for CP2. In the next lecture, I will start talking about Microsoft Excel in a lot more detail. Thank you.